Hello guys, and welcome to Sunday Drivers Cup 2022 season, round 16, and today we are driving around Lambrook Park with the Chicanes. After the last race, round 15, for the first time in this season I was able to get the lead in the championship standings. So going to this race I'm a current leader in this season, but only by 2 points to Tom Daly, so it's still pretty close between the two of us. And going to this race I was quite confident with my pace, but I also knew that I'm not that fast, so it will be a little bit harder for me to get a win. And even a podium position is good enough for me tonight, but we'll see. As you can see, I'm starting from second position. Behind me Michael Elliott, who was actually pretty close to me in qualifying, so it could have been other way around easily. Anyway, red lights. And away we go. And Michael Elliott behind me got a much better start. You can see I'm starting to turn in just a little bit, but then decided to not close the door, and he actually braked way earlier than I did, so I managed to hold my position here. And as I knew, this new tire model is very slippery during the first few laps, here maybe during the first lap, so I was just trying to apply pressure for Stefan Aldering in front of me, who's actually going very sideways there. Almost hit him. He goes to the crash, and all of a sudden I'm leading the race, and there was a huge carnage behind me. We will see that in slow-mo in no time, but all of a sudden I'm leading the race with almost 5 seconds gap. As you can see, I was like watching the mirrors and shaking my head. I couldn't even believe my luck here. What a start. I mean, I wasn't expecting that one. Anyway, here's the same situation from different angles, so I just managed to tap on the brakes and avoid the contact, and Michael Elliott was even closer to me, behind me, but he also avoided contact very nicely, although he was then involved in an accident with Stefan Aldering just a couple seconds later, which was of course unfortunate for him, unfortunate for the team, but that's how it goes sometimes. But anyway, this will totally change how I will approach this race from now on. This is now lap 3, and I'm already having a traffic in front of me. That's David Geddes. And there were quite many cars going off track or getting penalties or whatnot during the first lap, so I knew, and this is a very short track, so I knew that the traffic is gonna be some kind of a factor in this race tonight. And I was always like, I was expecting that I will always make my move on this main straight, just like Dave Geddes. He let me go there after the exit from the last corner, so very nicely done there, and I didn't lose any time with him, so thank you very much. This is now starting off lap 5, which is gonna be my fastest lap. It's not gonna be the fastest lap of the race. That goes to Svetanov, who was actually pretty fast tonight. I was actually expecting him to take the victory, but maybe he didn't get the best lap down in qualifying, and then he was involved in the accident with Stefan Aldering and Michael Elliott. So I was quite lucky in that sense as well. At this point the gap behind the Patrick Alders was around 7 seconds, so I was slowly building a gap. I think they were fighting behind me for second, for third position. There was actually quite good fights going on, so if you want to see those, I recommend watching the stream. There's a link in the description. But yeah, I was just like, I wasn't pushing too hard. I was just trying to get the solid laps down and avoid any like slowdowns, any big moments, so to say, because there was still a very good gap behind. But I can't just take it too easy. I know those guys behind me are still very fast, so it doesn't mean I can just relax and drive to the distance. I need to push. This is now lap 6, and I'm having my teammate Kalle in front of me, who is actually letting me go there. He's moving to the outside line, I'm taking the inside line. And here he makes a little mistake. He touched the grass outside, and then spins in front of Dave Geddes. They are having contact there. Very unfortunate for them, but that's how it goes sometimes. And while I was driving, I wasn't quite sure actually, was he giving me space or did I like misunderstood this whole situation, but asked him after the race and he was indeed giving me space, but he just said he made a mistake there, first square. And that's how it is sometimes. This is now end of lap 9. And it is now Sven Dalesman in front of me. He also left me space here very nicely. Thank you very much. So I wasn't losing any time with the back markers tonight. I think the Sunday Drivers' Cup has come a long way from where we started when it comes to back markers. So people are actually respecting blue flags, and also the guys who are lapping themselves or lapping those back markers, they are also being patient. They know it's not very easy sometimes to give space, or that's how I see it, at least. But it's nice to see things moving forward and chasing the better. After that, I was driving quite many laps without any action, but eventually I did find this Spirit 14 driver in front of me, Arturo Davila. And when we are coming out of the last chicane, we are having a little moment. I was actually expecting him to move left, just like Kalle and Sven Dalesman did, but he is actually holding the inside line, which is of course fine, and it was just a misjudge from my side, miscalculation, so that was totally on me. But luckily he didn't press brake or anything, and maybe I was too, I got too used to people moving to the outside line, so I didn't see that coming. But it was just a very small moment there, nothing unusual, nothing too dangerous, and all is fine. This is now end of lap 20, and we are soon about to start lap 21. So that means 5 laps to go, or something like that. And in a distance, in 5 seconds ahead of me, is David Mitchell, and he's actually fighting for position with another car. So you can see I was actually checking from black boxes how big the gap behind is, and the gap behind the Sandavare, who is holding the second position at the moment, it was almost 18 or 19 seconds. So at this point I decided that I will just maintain this gap to these guys and let them fight, because I see no reason for me to go there and ruin their races. This is now starting last lap, and the gap to front is pretty much the same. I was able to maintain it around 3-4 seconds, and the gap behind to Sandavare was staying pretty much the same as well, so he wasn't catching me. But now it's the last lap, I don't need to save anything anymore, and the gap in front is quite big, so I started to push. But I also wanted to be couple seconds margin maybe if they are going to crash into each other or anything, so I just want to be able to avoid any accident at this point. So overall, yeah, this race, it looked easy from the outside maybe, and maybe it was easy, but you still need to drive the car over the finish line before you can celebrate. So it's never easy in a sense, but tonight I think I was just handed over the victory during the first lap. And Tom Daly not being able to race tonight, that of course means that I will probably make gap to him a little bit bigger, but I think he will have some good reserve points due to the drop races, so it still be very close between the two of us. It's gonna mean that the rest of the season is still going to be very interesting. But that was the race, a little bit different than usually, but it is what it is. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, and bye bye.